Hello, welcome to yesterday's Airlines. In today's video, I'm going to be unboxing these three amazing Indonesian airliner releases that have come to my house just recently after a very long journey all the way from Indonesia. I get a lot of models from overseas, so it's not unusual for me to receive models from a long way off, but these ones took longer than usual not because they were gone from Indonesia, but because the courier company lost them within a couple of miles of my house. I had to spend a good chunk of my last week shouting at them until finally they found them. But I'm really pleased that they've arrived now because they are all looking to be great models. And they are models that are using the Panda Models molds for the 737-800 and the A320neo. And they have been made exclusively for Airshop Diecast, which is an awesome little store in Jakarta run by a guy called Kenny Hendrian. I've been buying models off Kenny now for a few years and I've had great service. I can highly recommend Airshop Diecast, so definitely check them out. And they've been making these really awesome Indonesian exclusives now since 2017, and they've made quite a few of these. These three are just the latest. I know there are 3 more in the pipeline, and they've made at least 10 or 12 others in the past. I've got quite a few of them, but these 3 are looking to be super exciting. As you can see, we've got some great subjects here. First up, we've got this lovely Garuda Indonesia retro 737-800 wearing the livery that was worn between 1961 and 69 by types such as the Convair 990. The reg on this one is PKGFM, as you can see, and it was made, as all of these are, I think, to only 120 pieces, so really limited and really interesting. The next one up is also a Garuda 737. This one is wearing the Landor scheme, worn, as you can see, between 85 and 2009, and the reg on this aircraft is PKGEQ, and this one comes extra with this Visit Indonesia decal that was worn as well. So again, looking really nice, super excited to see what that's like. And last up, we've got a new airline in Indonesia, or well, kind of a new airline, and that's TransNusa Airlines. And this is the first release for TransNusa in 400 scale. And we've got the A320neo PK TLA, as you can see. Again, 120 pieces, Airshop Diecast exclusive, not made for anyone else, or as far as I'm aware, available anywhere else. Really looking forward to seeing what this beauty's like as well. So we've got those 3 models to unbox in this video. Stay tuned. But obviously, as always, chuck a like on the video, enjoy the content, and thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Please do so if you haven't already, and check out my other channels at Yesterday Airlines on Instagram and Facebook, where there's lots more content like this and exploring the world of 400 scale models. And of course, don't forget yesterdaysairlines.com, the website, which has a huge amount of material about 400 scale. The place for you to find out everything you need to know, what's going on in 400, what's good, what's bad, the histories, it's all there. Check that out. But now let's get on and see what these models are like. So first up, we've got the retro Garuda Indonesia 737-800. This model is looking fabulous. And I actually did just review this model at yesterday's Airlines. So if you haven't seen that already, make sure you check out that review. It goes over the entire model in detail, but it is no shock to know that I think the model is really nice. It turned out really well. The Panda mold is a really nice 737-800, second only to the NG, and only then by a small amount. But there's a huge amount of really nice detail on this model. Really, some really nice detail printing around the nose cone. And you've got this lovely little brand logo, 1961 to 69, and great detailing across the entire aircraft. Really, really, really nice. Okay, moving her to the turntable, and she looks just as fabulous. Lots of really nice details, and as you can see, the reg PKGFM. It's not the first PKGFM on the Indonesian register. There was a Garuda F-27 in the 1960s, but this aircraft was built 2010 and delivered the next year, 2011, and I think has operated in this retro scheme for the whole time. It's not the only retro scheme that Garuda have, and I wouldn't mind seeing the later Garuda colours with the lovely orange striping up onto the tail and on this mold as well. So maybe that's a future release that Airshop Diecast can look into. But this one, looking really fabulous, I have to say. A really nice 737 addition to the collection here. Stands out, looks great. And I actually do have the Convair 990 in this scheme as well. So make a nice comparison next to that as well. Our second aircraft to unbox here is the Landor coloured Garudaindonesia 737 PKGEQ. This one looks just as good. The livery is quite Euro white, but it's still quite a classy scheme with the Garuda bird on the tail and ahead of the logos. You can see we've got the Sky Team logo as well, and we've got these Visit Indonesia titles on the rear fuselage, which themselves are quite attractive. Now, this must have been one of the last aircraft to be delivered in the Landor scheme, which is worn between 1985 and 2010, and this aircraft was delivered only in 2009, so it must have been a late addition to the fleet wearing these colours, which are still really nice. And here she is on the turntable as well. So you can see her from all the angles, really good. Now, Garuda wasn't the first airline to actually operate this frame. She was originally delivered, I think, to Air Europa in 2005. And she didn't stay with Garuda that long either. I believe that she left Garuda in 2016 and has passed through a few airlines, but is now one of quite a few aircraft which has ended up in Russia on the Russian register after the Ukrainian war. So it's effectively stolen by the airline and has been sold, in inverted commas, to the carrier. And I think she's operating with Al Rossa Aviation, famous for operating the last T154s. But really nice frame and a really, really nice model. And the first Garuda 737-800 I have in this scheme, actually. In fact, the only other aircraft, a narrowbody I've got in this scheme is a Series 300, which also was, I believe, an exclusive for Airshop Diecast too. So great to start building up a short-haul fleet for the airline. And the last of the trio to unbox is the TransNusa A320 Neo. And this was probably the most interesting of the three models for me because I do like an unusual, slightly obscure airline. TransNusa is an interesting carrier. It's had quite a long history in Indonesia, but hasn't always had that success. It's been relaunched only in the last couple of years. And this PKTLA was its first A320 Neo, and seemingly also its last as well, because the aircraft is no longer with TransNusa. It was built in 2020 and delivered to TransNusa in October 21, but was withdrawn from use in July of 2023 and is now in service in Uzbekistan with Uzbekistan Airways as UK 32028. So she's no longer with TransNusa, which is interesting. Now, this is a CFM LEAP powered A320. One of the cool things about the Panda Models is you can see that the CFM LEAP engines are correctly designed with the little bulge on the outside here, which they should have and isn't on the Pratts for the LEAP. So really nice detailing, excellent little model, and an interesting livery here. And as you can see, TransNusa is a member of this Link Asia group, but is one of the smaller low-cost airlines trying to make a dent in the Indonesian market. And here she is up on the turntable as well, looking fabulous. As I say, she's no longer operating with TransNusa, but TransNusa does still have Airbus A320s in the fleet. They've got 4 A320 CEOs. They've also got a couple of Comac ARJ21s. I think they are the first export non-Chinese customer for their ARJ21. So that's interesting. And I get the feeling that probably means that TransNusa's got some Chinese funding backing it up there. But it's a really interesting, unique airline. Like I say, this is the first and only release in 400 scale for TransNusa, and it's great to be able to add some slightly more unusual airlines and great to see some diversity in 400 scale. I'm really pleased with this release, and it's really nice to be able to get this kind of unique airline. I mean, as you can see in the background, there's portion of my Iranian fleet, and you don't have anywhere near the same kind of diversity for Iran as there is for Indonesia, even though you've got a lot of cool airlines there. So it's nice that Indonesia is getting this attention, and that's mainly down to excellent retailers like Kenny at Airshop Diecast, who are creating these retailer exclusive models, which are really, really nice. So that's it. That's a quick look around at these 3 beautiful Airshop Diecast exclusives. As I said, Airshop Diecast has been making quite a few Indonesian exclusives, and another recent release from them from last year, earlier in the year, was this Pelita A320 with the sharklets. That's a really nice model as well, and another one which is well worth trying to get your hands on. Again, Panda Models base mold. This one's an A320 CEO, not a Neo, but looks really, really nice. And they go really, really nicely together. I highly recommend Kenny Hendrian and the lads at Airshop Diecast. They're producing some great models. Really nice to see that diversity, as I say. And Panda are producing some really good quality. So check them out if you haven't already, and if you're interested in Indonesian airliners. Can't rate them highly enough. But that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. As always, keep an eye out on my channels for more, and I'll see you next time from Yesterday's Airlines. Bye for now.